After the Battle for Artemis, the Scion Conflict slowly erupted across the galaxy. Within a month, multiple worlds saw engagements between the opposing nations. On April 22, 2267, a week after Artemis was reclaimed by the Scion Empire, AR and SE forces contested for control of Zither mounds on the derelict colony Gliese, before both were repelled by ECF holdouts living in deep underground cities. The AR had successfully mined substantially more Zither than the SE, news which unsettled the Grand Science Joint Command. With Zither in their possession, the AR could now open hyperspace tunnels, also known as wormholes, for instantaneous travel, a great security concern for the Scion Empire. Thus a few days later, Admiral Plutarch was given orders to conduct a raid against the Joss research station run by the AR. There the Imperial Department of Intelligence had learned that the AR were conducting experiments, utilizing Zither for wormhole stabilization in order to create a hyperspace gate between Joss and Dinov, as well as for future potential use to conduct surprise attacks against the Scion Empire. The operation on the icy world of Joss was dubbed Piercing Winter. The Joss research station was protected by Siegfried plasma shields, a barrier technology used mostly on ships which neutralize incoming projectiles. In order to destroy the station from orbit, Admiral Plutarch required a ground element to destroy the shield emitters. Although AR watchdogs attempted to stop the assault on the research station, the zealous Scion Guard were fanatic in their attack, destroying the shield emitters and themselves in the process. Their valiant sacrifice gave Admiral Plutarch the window he needed. Shortly after the shields evaporated, Admiral Plutarch ordered the orbital bombardment of the Joss research station, leveling it to the ground. However, a few scientists managed to escape to Dinov using the hyperspace gate they had created, along with a sufficient amount of Zither for future use. The Scion Empire was successful and had temporarily halted the progress of the AR's experimentation with Zither. These recent victories against the AR, including the reclamation of Artemis, were celebrated on Scion Prime with parades ordered by Emperor Balthazar. Scion citizens across the galaxy were confident in the might of the Scion Empire and viewed the rebels in the frontier as destroyers of the peace. It was their rebellion that brought war to the galaxy, as the Scions claimed. Then on April 29, the Amalgamate Republic made their move on Savannah. Savannah had always represented the divide between the Scion Empire and the frontier dwellers. Half of the planet consisted of loyalists, while the other half identified with the independent colonies movement. When the AR declared independence, non-loyalists were labeled AR sympathizers. They were treated harshly by their Scion constituents. Many colonists were publicly humiliated for having had anti-government sentiment against the Scion Empire. Daily beatings and public display of the sympathizers became endemic on Savannah. When the AR forces of the 103rd Regiment of Militia arrived, they were greeted as liberators by the sympathizers against an oppressive regime. Through guerrilla warfare, the AR force multiplied their presence on Savannah, drawing in volunteers from the pool of sympathizers on the world. They were promised freedom and AR citizenships in exchange for their service to the Republic. The planetary defense forces of Savannah were strained by the asymmetric warfare being waged by the AR, and thus the SE dispatched the 10th Scion Guard Expeditionary Unit, under the command of General Cornelius Omarosa. At first the SE forces were successful at repelling the foothold gained by the rebels. The AR fighters were pushed to rural areas, while the SE had reclaimed much ground around the capital city of the colony of Savannah, Swaga. Despite these victories, the AR managed to turn the tide of the battle for the planet. With mechanoid reinforcements from the frontier, the SE were pushed back to Swaga, where they were utterly destroyed by the Amalgamate Republic Air Force. Once the ARAF had destroyed the SE's spaceport and base of operations, the capital city was swarmed and captured by AR fighters, effectively pushing the SE off the planet by May 9, 2267. After the liberation of Savannah, Prime Minister Terran Gerard, the first elected Prime Minister of the Amalgamate Republic, called for a victory parade in Dinov. The celebrations by the AR citizens were wild, cheerful, and ecstatic. The people of the AR believed they could bring true freedom to the galaxy and depose Emperor Balthazar, whom they called the despot on Scion Prime. However, these celebrations would be cut short by the devastating defeat that was soon to follow. While the Scion Empire focused on consolidating control over the population on Artemis and bolstering their defenses along the border of Amalgamate Republic space, the AR prepared invasion plans for the SE colony of Rytov. Rytov was considered a fortress world of the SE, covered in military installations, research bases, vast oceans and monolithic ice caps. The colony on Rytov beneath the Titan fortress was considered impregnable. Despite this, the fundamental flaw of the Titan fortress was a dependency on ventilation systems which could be sabotaged in order to force a capitulation. It was decided that conquering Rytov could be feasible if done correctly. Thus, the Amalgamate Republic Navy approved the Fifth Fleet to conduct the operation. The first course of action was to disable Omega Station, a planetary defense missile shield, capable of destroying ships in orbit. A small strike team of some of the AR's best paratroopers and divers were directed to breach Omega Base on Rytov and destroy its power conduit, in order to disable its defense capabilities. Several SE assets were destroyed in the assault, including 2 submarines and 2 research vessels at the Alexandria Naval Yard. However, the power conduit remained intact. After the strike team failed to destroy the power conduit at Omega Base, the Fifth Fleet was forced to land on Rytov under repeated missile strikes. Several ships were destroyed while making entry, killing hundreds. After the crippled Fifth Fleet had landed, the SE prepared to repel the invading force from their frozen world. A few days after the Fifth Fleet touched down on Rytov, the SE deployed ground forces to bait and bleed AR forces. Nearly a whole platoon of Scion Guard were wiped out in the skirmish, and about half as many AR watchdogs were killed while intercepting their advance towards the Fifth Fleet. By the time the skirmish was over, the SE suffered more losses than expected. As a result, the commanding officer of the attacking SE forces ordered his remaining men to surrender. After successfully pushing back SE forces attempting to destroy the Fifth Fleet's reinforcements, AR High Command ordered an assault on the SE's Titan fortress. The battle was brutal with hundreds of losses. In the end, neither side could secure a victory in what amounted to a stalemate. However, the following night, AR saboteurs infiltrated the Titan fortress and attempted to sabotage the ventilation systems. However, the saboteurs were caught and killed. Desperate for a victory, the AR once again ordered an assault on the Titan fortress. The losses were catastrophic, resulting in the deaths of thousands of Amalgamate Republic militia fighters. After the second assault on the Titan fortress, the first Imperial Armada had arrived to reinforce the defending SE forces, destroying most of the AR ground element and sending the Fifth Fleet into full retreat. It was a catastrophic day for the AR, with thousands who lay dead on the steps of the Titan fortress, frozen and entombed in ice. The wounded who survived were surprised to find they were treated adequately as prisoners of war by the Scion Empire. They were given medical treatment and provided accommodations necessary for their survival. Though not victorious, the Amalgamate Republic left a scar on the Scion Empire. Their ability to project their military might onto an SE-controlled world would foreshadow the battles to come. Shortly after the battle for the Titan fortress, the Dinov Memorial Gardens was erected to honor the lives of those lost in the name of liberty. Their sacrifice would never be forgotten.